Amin Maalouf is a Lebanese intellectual. This former journalist is also the author of a raft of work. Among his themes, the question of cultural identity. The European Union has asked him to gather together a group of intellectuals to reflect on giving Europeans the means to study another language, possibly European, but not their mother tongue.
Amin
Maalouf, welcome to Euronews. You are a Christian Arab who speaks French, so one single identity, several affiliations. Do you think it's possible for people of the world to have a single identity but several affiliations in the future?
When you analyze your identity, everyone finds it comprises several different affiliations or allegiances. I think that's the reality in the world today. I think you have to take on all of your allegiances because elements of affiliation are a little bit like genetic code. There are lots of them. And you determine for everyone the elements which make each person unique. Unfortunately, in today's world, there's sometimes a tendency to favor one single allegiance and to confuse it with identity and to overlook other affiliations. That's very simplistic and I would even say dangerous. You only have to look at how the world appears today.
You say dangerous, but that could also be contradictory. Because you speak about globalization, but you say when globalizations become something visible to everyone, the individuals have begun to think with one single identity, with one single allegiance. Why is that?
Today, I think the whole world feels that its real culture is threatened, and probably there's some truth in that. I think that all unique cultures are threatened because they don't know what their place is in today's world. It's a world which is getting complicated. And there are changes. The speed of change is extraordinary. There are events which in other times would have taken generations or centuries and which now unfold before us in a matter of a few years. Like the Berlin Wall coming down, which has enormous impact on the world. It happened at an incredible speed.
The fall of the Berlin Wall could be considered a fundamental step if you're going to put a date on globalization. But it was just after the collapse of the wall that we saw, for example, the breakup of Yugoslavia with fierce conflicts of ethnicity and identity, leading to September 11th with this great jolt to civilizations based on religion. But why? Is it this feeling of fear you spoke about?
The Berlin Wall coming down marked the end of the conflict between the two blocs, the end of the Cold War, and also the end of the ideological splits, which had become completely secondary compared to the other rifts, splits in identity. There's a big difference between ideological rifts and splits in identity. There's still a lot of potential to debate ideological rifts, and we're 20 years into a world where there's little debate, where everyone affirms their identity, often aggressively. It's a problem we haven't been able to solve so far, and it's why today's world is portrayed in terms of a conflict of civilization.
Could the European Union be, ideally speaking, a symbol of this attempt to have 27 different identities with one single affiliation?
When you're from a region like mine, where there are bloody political, religious or community conflicts and others, you appreciate all the more what it is to find yourself in a group where you can put past conflicts behind you and build something. It's true, it's never easy. What's underway in Europe is a unique experience, unique in human history, and for me it's the biggest carrier of hope in the world today.
But there are still wounds. A very strong symbol of unity and integration, the European Constitution, was voted out.
It's important that each European feels that his or her language is preserved, that language has a place in the Europe of tomorrow, and that no language will be marginalized in the Europe of tomorrow. I think that to experience a really strong sense of European belonging, you have to feel that your real culture, your proper language, is encouraged in the whole of Europe and not marginalized. And that's what we're reflecting on in our think tank.
You come from Lebanon, an example of several identities living together. There's one Arabic language, but different religions.
C'est l'arabe, la langue arabe, mais il y a des différentes religions.
I think the relationships between the religious communities are difficult. It's a pretty sad time, quite delicate. It's maybe why those who know the region like I do view the European example with so much hope. The idea of seeing these countries who've fought each other for so long agreeing to open their borders and building something together.
The Arab culture, the Muslim culture have always been highly respected. Do you think a problem began after September the 11th?
There have been rare moments when things have come together. Mythical times for me, like the Andalusian civilization, where Christians, Jews and Muslims all lived together. They created a highly refined civilization. I think we must try today to build another kind of relationship. But the past is unfortunately made up of conflicts and war, and so is the present. Unfortunately, relationships are confrontational. There's no need to hide the fact. They're full of hatred, rancor and violence. It's a source of profound sadness for me, but you mustn't give in to it.
Merci de nous avoir accordé cette interview.